Welcome back to another reaction from your favorite reaction person, MB, aka marBankzzz, aka Mr. Get Straight to It, aka I get a lot of money, aka. Okay, today's video I got a special treat for y'all. Daycare worker caught on camera kicking toddlers 100 times. Yes, that is a real title. Yes, a person actually did that. And I wanted to bring this cheat with y'all, my reaction family. Alright, so if you want to see me live for a live reaction, marBankzzz, capital B, 3 Z's. I love y'all a lot. And B, and you already know what we do. Let's get right into the video.
A daycare worker caught on surveillance video repeatedly kicking toddlers. Well, she's expected to spend time in prison after pleading guilty. More than 100 incidents were caught on camera. We are taking a look at what her sentence could be and the steps that can be taken to make sure our children are safer in daycare environments. And we're going to do that with an expert.
Me hearing shit like this and watching one of the movies where it's like the kids that's like, I just need a camera on my kid, man. Because shit like this, I'm going to find your family and kill everyone. You play with my junior like that, let my junior come home. Papa, the teacher hit me. I'm at her door. I'm at her door. Like, come on, Mo. Kids, though?
In daycare injury litigation. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber.
What do kids got to do to make you that mad?
Texas was expected to care for multiple.
You got rage baited?
But instead, she was caught on camera kicking those children again and again and again, coming up behind them and kicking them in the back. I wish I was making it up, but I am not. We first told you about 45-year-old Catherine Guzieska last fall. She worked at Pumpkin Doodles Daycare in Lindale. Another daycare employee was checking security tapes when they allegedly spotted Guzieska kicking a 2-year-old child in the small of their back. The boy apparently cried out, grabbed his back where she'd struck him. According to an arrest warrant that was reviewed by KLTV, that other daycare employee called the boy's father and reported what happened. He then got in touch with the Smith County Sheriff's Office on October 23rd, 2024. So investigators, they reviewed more of Pumpkin Doodle surveillance footage, and they found that this woman, Guzieska, kicked 6 toddlers on 134 separate occasions. And by the way, that's not all. Several videos reportedly showed her walking around during nap time and aggressively moving various toddlers, pulling some of them from their beds and dragging them by their arms to a changing table. This is according to court documents. In videos that showed a changing table, Guzieska reportedly put the children on the table so aggressively, pushing their heads and forcing them to stare at the wall instead of in the direction of a TV. She's even accused of standing on children's hands to punish them. One video allegedly showed her standing on a toddler's hand for several seconds while the child tried to get away. Now, deputies, they reviewed these videos, and they said the children, they weren't acting out in any way. They weren't being disruptive when the daycare worker hurt them.
It doesn't matter! Why, as a teacher, you're putting hands on a baby? When did teachers ever put their hands on, like, yo, Mo, you're not the parent. You're a teacher. Teach. Why are you even laying one finger on a child? If that's my son, why are you touching him? Like, you're not supposed to touch him. Stop doing that. You're not. Stop. Like, oh my God.
But the sheriff's office,
exactly, nigga.
It was apparent that Guzieska, that her actions were random, intentional, unprovoked, violent in nature, and done for the sole intent of inflicting pain. And Guzieska hadn't been at that daycare all that long. The former owner of the daycare, Melanie Dawn Law, spoke with KLTV and said that the woman was originally hired in September of 2023 and that the assaults happened between July and October in 2024. She says she fired Guzieska the day the abuse was exposed. And according to reporting, she passed a background check and had all the required training and qualifications to work with young children. She reportedly said, to think someone I hired and trusted could harm innocent children in this way is beyond comprehension. Guzieska was arrested and charged with 2 counts of injury to a child with the intent to cause bodily harm. More of those same felony charges were later tacked on, bringing the total to 6. She was held on a $450,000 bond, which it appears she was never able to post. And law said that she planned to sell the daycare, that it would reopen under new ownership with a new name. And then we go to Tuesday, September 16th. And this is when Guzieska entered a guilty plea in Smith County Court. Now, based on the Texas criminal sentencing guidelines, Guzieska could face a wide range of prison sentences. KLTV reports that her defense attorneys are asking for a 10-year sentence on each charge, which, kind of sounds like a lot, but they want those sentences served concurrently, so at the same time. Now, you might think by watching Sidebar, you've seen it all. Let me tell you, think again. 50 Ways to Catch a Killer brings you real cases where detectives had to flip the script to take down cold-blooded killers. Hosted by 50 Cent, this isn't your typical crime show, okay? It's a high...
Hey, shout out to you. I don't need to add though. Let's get back to it.
Often, Russell, it's really good to see you again because you've been, fortunately, deals with a lot of these cases often. Russell, it's really good to see you again because you've been following this case with us for the past year. I guess we could start here. It's good to see some sort of resolution in this case. Pleading guilty? Why do you think that happened?
Jesse, we've been following this case since you had us on last December, and I am grateful that they finally pled guilty, okay? And I think a lot of it had to do with the significance that this got out there in the press. I think that's part of it. And it brought to light some of these issues that we see time and time again in our cases. Now, one of the most important parts about why this was pled to and why this criminal is finally going to get sentenced for what she did to these children, it's largely because this should never happen. And they know it, and there's no way out of it on this one.
No. Okay, let's talk about that. No way out of it. I'm sensing significant prison time here. The defense, though, what they're asking for is interesting. They're asking for, our understanding, 10 years on each of the 6 charges, but serving them concurrently at the same time. So I guess 10 years in total. What is your reaction to that recommendation?
Well, first off, Jesse, I'm just grateful that the district attorney and they're taking this seriously criminally, because I'll say far too often on these abuse cases, we see criminal charges not getting brought, and so I'm very grateful that that happened here. So, as far as the 10 years per each count of the 6 counts for a total of 60, but they're all going to be served at the same time. In my opinion, concurrent sentences in this sort of scenario, it doesn't reflect the severity of what happened here. I mean, plain and simple. This was not a one-time mistake. I mean, that's clear. 134 different instances of abuse spread out over months and months of time, with multiple different children. This was an adult who intentionally harmed toddlers, and each of those children and each of those assaults deserves to be recognized individually in our opinion. Serving that all that amount of time at once, it minimizes the weight of the crimes individually, in our opinion, and fails to account for the repeated harm that these families had to endure.
What do you think the court's going to do?
The court is going to make their own decision, no matter what each side of the attorneys recommend. Attorneys can come up with a deal on both sides, the prosecutor and the defense, and the judge is going to make their own determination.
But yeah, man, that'll be the end of that video. But bro, you hear some crazy shit every day watching this news shit. That's why I don't even like watching the news, because it's just like, it just be just negative, gang. Like, I would have never knew in this whole week, in this whole month, fucking this whole year, that there's a teacher who just kicks toddlers 100+ times. Like, what are we doing as a society? Where we got to the point where we're kicking toddlers. I don't want to be that nigga to just be like, she's crazy, because they did say 2023 to 2024 she was working there, whatever. So maybe something traumatic happened 2023 to make her do some shit like that. Because I don't think people just wake up and just kick a toddler, gang. Like, I don't think you're that evil. I think this is MB going into criminal mode. I think something like mentally, something probably traumatic happened to her, where she probably started kicking babies, but she really got rage baited by kids. Not even rage. She just raged. Not even baited. They're babies. They don't even know how to rage bait you. But yeah, man, lock her ass up, man. Lock her ass up.